Hello CMA final students. From evening onwards, many students are asking me to do a video on trust taxation. I think many students did not prepare trust taxation. That's why they are feeling a bit scary. Don't worry. Like most probably 85 to 90%, I know the concept from which question will be asked from trust taxation. That concept I am going to explain you in 10 to 15 minutes. Just listen that concept. Like in worst case, if question comes from trust taxation, that will come from this concept only. You will be able to answer. Just invest just 15 minutes. No panic. Don't worry. Nothing will happen. You will be able to answer trust taxation question also confidently. Just listen this video. Okay. There is one concept called income derived from property held under trust. First, understand what income derived from property held under trust means. Then I will explain you tax treatment for income derived from property held under trust. Only based on this concept, question will come if at all a question comes from trust taxation. Whatever many trusts will have immovable properties, buildings, function halls. From them, if any rental income is received, that rental income from immovable property will be treated as income derived from property held under trust. Not only income from immovable property, if at all any income is received from movable property, even income from movable property is also treated as income derived from property held under trust. Next, donations. Donations are classified into two types: voluntary donations, corpus donations. Voluntary donations, that is the donation is the major income for a trust. Whatever the voluntary donation received is there, that is also treated as income derived from property held under trust. Next, if any corpus donation is received, sir, what do you mean by corpus donation? Donor is giving donation with a specific direction. That donation should be used for corpus of the trust, capital fund of the trust. So if that direction is given, then such type of donation we call as corpus donation. If we get any corpus donation is not income derived from property held in the trust. Corpus donation is not at all taxable because it is not revenue receipt, it is capital receipt. Okay, but a corpus donation received should be deposited in safe mode of investments given under section 11.5. Next, business income is there. See, trust can do business, but that business should be incidental to main object of the trust. ISKCON is there. Their main object is promotion of Krishna religion. With regard to that, they are going to sell Krishna books. Whatever the selling of Krishna books is there, that is incidental to main objective of promoting Krishna religion. Okay. Now, whatever the net profit received by ISKCON is there, that is treated as income derived from property held under trust. Okay, only if business is relating to incidental to main objects of the trust, then only net profit received will be treated as income derived from property held under trust. Next, like trust sells any property and receives capital gains. Even capital gains are also treated as income derived from property held under trust. Other receipts are also treated as income derived from property held under trust. So all these incomes will be treated as income derived from property held under trust. Now we are going to see tax treatment. Whatever income derived from property held under trust is there, out of that 15% is not at all taxable. It is not taxable. 15% standard deduction is available. That means 15% is straight away not taxable. You have to take remaining 85%. In remaining 85%, let's say trust received 90 lakh rupees, 80 lakh rupees as income derived from property held under trust. Out of that, 15% is straight away not taxable. So when you are doing problem tomorrow, whatever income derived from property held under trust is there, from that claim 15% as standard deduction. 15% is not at all taxable. Out of remaining 85%, whatever the amount that you spent for objects of the trust is there, that you have applied for objects of the trust is there, that is allowed as deduction. So amount spent for charitable or religious purpose, that is treated as applied. Not only revenue expenditure, even capital expenditure spent for objects of the trust, that is also allowed as deduction, that is also treated as applied. For temple, donations received, you constructed one building, building expenditure is treated as applied. Building expenditure, even though it is capital expenditure, it is allowed as deduction from 85%. Now, sir, Capital expenditure is also treated as applied. Again, whether depreciation is allowed? No. As 100% of capital expenditure is allowed, again depreciation is not allowed. Are you able to understand? Next. So 68 lakhs are 85%. Out of that, applied for charitable or religious purpose is only 20 lakhs. Remaining is 48 lakhs. Out of 48 lakhs, 4 lakh rupees is accrued but not received. For example, I gave function hall on rent. Rental income is 6 lakhs. Only 2 lakhs is received. Remaining 4 lakhs is outstanding. Whatever the outstanding amount is there, that also you can claim as deduction. So outstanding amount you can claim as deduction now. Again in future you will receive 4 lakhs now. The year in which you receive 4 lakhs, in that year you have to spend the money. Are you able to understand? So in 25-26, 4 lakh outstanding is there. So claim 4 lakh outstanding as deduction because you did not receive in cash. You received in 27-28. So when you get that 4 lakhs outstanding amount in 27-28, either you should spend in 27-28 or immediately next financial year 28-29. So you like the year in which money is received, outstanding money in that year or immediately next financial year, you have to spend the money. Then whatever the money that is spent, like that is fine if you spend the money. For example, in 27-28, I got 4 lakhs. I should spend in 27-28 or 28-29. By end of 28-29, 2,50,000 is spent, 1,50,000 is unspent. Whatever the unspent amount is there at the end of 28-29, that is taxable at the rate of 30% under section 115 BBC. Are you able to understand? The reason under section 115 BBI. The reason is today you are claiming it as deduction without receiving money. So you have to spend it in the year in which you receive the money or immediately next financial year. Then only it is treated as applied. If there is any unspent money, then unspent money is taxable under 115 BBI at the rate of 30%. Next, bumper donation. What do you mean by bumper donation? Let's say on 31st March you received donation. How can you spend with one day? On 31st March you got 30 lakhs donation. How can you spend within only one day 30 lakh rupees? You cannot spend. So there is edge. Whatever the bumper donations received are there, you can claim bumper donation as deduction in current year, but you have to spend before end of next financial year. If you spend before end of next financial year, well and good. Okay, you received on 31st March 8 lakh rupees. You cannot spend immediately, so you will claim as deduction in 25-26, but you should spend 8 lakhs on or before 26-27. Before end of 26-27, you have to spend 8 lakhs. Out of 8 lakhs, you have spent 6 lakhs. 2 lakhs is unspent. Whatever the unspent amount at the end of 26-27 is there, that is taxable under 115 BBI at the rate of 30%. Voluntary donations. That means if one trust registered under section 12AB gives donation to another trust also registered under section 12AB, the nature of donation should be voluntary donation. So simply one trust giving voluntary donation to another trust registered under section 12AB. Total donation given is not treated as applied. Only 85% of donation is treated as applied. So if 2 lakhs donation is given, 2 lakhs is not treated as applied. 2 lakh into 85%, 1.7 lakhs will only be treated as applied. Are you able to understand? Simple logic. For other trust also 15% standard deduction is available. 85% is only taxable. So if I give 2 lakhs, 2 lakhs is not taxable to other trust. 15% standard deduction is available. 85% is only taxable. That's why here also for this trust only 85% is treated as expenditure. 85% is treated as applied. Next. If you take any loan, let's say trust took loan, it constructed one building. Whenever loan is taken and money is spent for construction of building, the year in which money is spent, in that year it is not treated as expenditure. In that year it is not treated as applied. What many trusts are doing, they are taking loan, incurring expenditure, claiming expenditure, they are defaulting. They are not paying back the loan. That's why whenever loan is taken by trust and incurred expenditure, it is not allowed as deduction. Whenever this loan is repaid, in the year of repayment, loan repaid is allowed as deduction. Along with repayment, if any interest is paid, even interest is also treated as applied. Interest is also allowed as expenditure. Are you able to understand? Next, accumulation under section 11 subsection 2. Accumulation for specific purpose. for specific period. Let's say, for example, there is one charitable trust. It wanted to construct one room for the purpose of food donation. Now, construction of room will cost around 5 to 6 lakh rupees. So, whatever the net profit it is receiving every year, some part of net profit will be accumulated for the purpose of construction of the room. So, like before ITR due date, you can give declaration to Commissioner of Income Tax. We wanted to accumulate our net profit for the purpose of specific reason. Okay, so they should tell specific purpose, specific period. That specific period cannot be more than 5 years. That means maximum period they can accumulate and spend money for capital construction. How much is the maximum period that is allowed for accumulation? 5 years. And whatever the money accumulated is there, that should be deposited in safe mode of investments, and this accumulated money should not be donated to another trust. Are you able to understand? If all these 4 conditions are satisfied, then section 11 subsection 2, that, like for example, in this 10 lakhs is deposited, 10 lakh rupees is our profit, but 10 lakh rupees was separated and it is accumulated separately for the purpose of construction of the room. That is also treated as applied. So before ITR due date, if you want to accumulate money, you can accumulate money for specific purpose for specified period, and that money should be deposited in safe mode of investments, and it should not be given as donation to another person. If all these 4 conditions are satisfied, even though you receive profit, it is not taxable, accumulated for specific purpose. Are you able to understand? Next. Corpus. I already told you, corpus donation received is not taxable. Corpus donation is a safety fund. Only in case of emergency, corpus fund will be utilized. For example, TTD is there, COVID came, for 6 months, there are less number of devotees coming. Even though less number of devotees are coming, TTD is required to pay salaries to all the employees. TTD is required to pay electricity bill. So all the expenses are there, but no funds are there. In that case, money will be withdrawn from corpus fund, and money withdrawn from corpus fund will be utilized for the purpose of payment of salaries, expenses and all. Now, whenever you withdraw money from corpus fund and incur expenditure spent from corpus fund not treated as applied, not allowed as expenditure. Are you able to understand? So when you withdraw money from corpus fund and use it for expenses, those expenses are not allowed as deduction. In future, again you got profits. You refilled the corpus fund. The year in which you refill the corpus fund, in that year, whatever the amount you have refilled in corpus fund is there, that refilled amount will be treated as applied. Okay, so income used for deposit back to corpus, that will be treated as applied. After you claim all these deductions, then whatever the balance income is there, that is taxable at slab rates. Okay, so this is the concept. If at all question comes from trust taxation, from this concept only question will come. Listen carefully. Don't see how you go to the exam, that will determine whether you will succeed or fail. Okay, so go to exam confidently, you will come up with flying colors. Okay, I wish you all the very best. Thank you. Bye.